Traders, if you found yourself on this video, it means you are interested in one of the most powerful tools in all of markets, and that is the TPO, or time price opportunities. So let us just start from the basics here and show you how to add this indicator to your chart. And what we're going to do is zoom out here. We are on a daily chart. We are looking at NVIDIA, NVDA. Now up here at the Indicators, Metrics, and Strategies menu, we can click, and now we can use the search box to locate the TPO rather quickly, time price opportunities. So we can search really for time or TPO, it'll show up here, or we can use technicals. So we have this technicals menu here, and then we have these categories: indicators, strategies, profiles. Now, time price opportunities can be found in profiles, and throughout this video, you will understand why. But before we click to add this indicator to our chart, we do want to remind everyone, if you want to learn more about profiles, we have many YouTube videos and Help Center documents to get you started. So go check those out. And there's one more tip to observe, and that is this question mark here, this little tool tip, show description. We can click and open up the Help Center to read in detail about all of the features on time price opportunities while watching this video. Okay, let's get to it. Click, and let's add this to our chart. Now you'll notice we've added it to our chart. We can see TPO at the top left, and we see some additional data. Now keep in mind that time price opportunities generally displays a ton of data, and when you add it to your chart, you're going to want to zoom in to really see that data. So what we're doing here is we're zooming in on our chart to get a really detailed view, not only on the daily candlesticks we have here, but the TPO indicator as well. And the way you know the TPO indicator is live is you can see these blocks here. You can see the different colors and the letters within them. What you will also observe is there is a volume profile attached to the TPO as well. So if you already know what a volume profile is, that's what these blue bars are. The TPO comes with a volume profile. You can see both aspects at once. But we are, to start this video, going to hide the volume profile, and we will show you this menu rather soon. And the reason why we are hiding it is we just want to make sure that all of the traders who are watching this video know what each letter means. Okay, each letter on this indicator represents a period of time and if trading action occurred in that period of time. If we double click on the TPO indicator, we get the settings menu and go to inputs, we can see that it says here block size 30 minutes. That means each block represents 30 minutes of trading. And if you see an A, that means it's the start of the session. If you see a B, that's the next 30 minutes in the session. If you see a C, that's the next 30 minutes in the session, and so on. So now you are probably grasping exactly what the TPO is. You can see the session and where price traded within that session based off of specific time blocks that you want to look at. In this case, as we mentioned, block size 30 minutes. Well, we can now see how price developed at each 30-minute interval. Also, to really demonstrate this so you can see it in two different ways, we can use this split by blocks feature to see the trading action over periods of time. So if we split by blocks here, you'll see all you see is A's. That's the first 30 minutes. Recall, block size 30 minutes. A's is the first 30 minutes. B's is the next 30 minutes. C's are the next 30 minutes after that. D's are the next 30 minutes. E's, F's, G, H. So you can start to see how price changed over time within these 30-minute blocks. And the choice is yours on how you want to display that. You can either see it in this sort of linear way. A is the first 30 minutes and it works along your price scale, or you can see it stacked on top of each other. Once again, the choice is entirely yours. Traders have different use cases for each, which we will ideally explain as we go through this video. But there is so much more to understand here, and before we dive into the other details, let us give you an example so that you can grasp how you might use this indicator. This is just one example. You might find different ways. But let's say, for example, you were planning to trade NVIDIA. Maybe you had an alert set, maybe you did some technical analysis, or maybe you just wanted to day trade it. For whatever reason, all of the criteria met your day trading sort of scan. There's certain things happening here that meet your scan. Well, one thing you might want to use TPO for is to understand what periods of time attract either the most volatility or the widest ranges, or maybe the least volatility or smallest ranges. So let's use the last 3 days to really see what happened here. Now remember, we can see the candlesticks as well, and TPO also works on different chart types, so we can see the line chart as well. Or for this matter, why don't we actually hide the candlesticks altogether and just focus on the TPO indicator itself? So as we mentioned, maybe we're looking to trade NVIDIA. The question now is, what time period should we aim to trade at? Well, let's use the last few days of trading action to get an understanding of what's possible. In today's trading action, we can see that there was an A here, an A here, an A here, an A here. That's 4 different A's, and it starts all the way up at 863 and goes down all the way to 841. That means in the first 30 minutes, the price within those 30 minutes swung $20 per share. That might be the type of action you're looking for. And into tomorrow, that is notable, perhaps. Now, if you're looking to trade this, the first 30 minutes might really showcase the most volatility or the widest range. You can do the necessary research to figure that out. In fact, you may even want to better understand your symbol to know exactly where the fair market price is. Now, after all, as traders or investors, our goal is to find the fair market price, and sometimes you can track that through all the way to the close. And the last letters here on the TPO will show you the close of that specific session. So recall, each block shows 30 minutes worth of trading, so we can just read the alphabet and each new letter is the next 30 minutes, all the way to the last letter in this sequence to understand where it closed at and just how much trading action happened at that close. Then you can use that information to prepare for the close if you are planning to trade it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is really the starting point of TPO. You now know how to access the indicator. You know how to get more information. You know how to add it to your chart. You know how to read the letters and the blocks. And you have also gained insights into the settings menu. And you have also just received 2 examples of ways you could gain information from the TPO indicator. But let's go ahead and add the candlestick back to the chart. And now let's walk you through the settings menu so that you really understand what's available to you. And as always, we can drag the settings menu as needed until we create the layout of our choice here. So as we make edits to the settings menu, they are reflected here on the chart. The first thing is the inputs menu, as we were demonstrating. And what you're going to want to pay attention to are the periods. So right now we are showing 1 day, and that corresponds nicely with our daily chart. So if we were to go to a 2-hour chart, we would still see the TPO calculated over 1 day. But if we wish, we could calculate the TPO on a week or monthly basis. So let's say, for example, we click week, and let's click OK. Let's give it a second to load. Well, now what you are seeing is a TPO over a full week of trading. So recall, for example, that there was previously the TPO indicator on each candle. That's because it was calculating the TPO for each day, but now we've created a TPO on a weekly basis. The reason why this is so helpful is because we are recording this video on a Tuesday. We are looking at NVIDIA. That means we get to look forward to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday trading action. And we can use this TPO to start to see what time periods are attracting the most action or having the widest ranges. Of course, we will all make decisions in our own way, but this is just one example. And now let's discuss the block size, because the block size is incredibly important because, as we mentioned, each block represents a time interval of your choice. A is 30 minutes. But we have adjusted this to a TPO being calculated each week, so why don't we expand on this and maybe make this 2 hours? Now, because we've made it 2 hours, there are now less blocks because each block contains more time information within them. So naturally, as we've been saying throughout this video, the choice is really yours. And the key here is, now that you know how to add TPO to your chart, you're going to want to explore its settings menu until you figure out the best indicator use, the best time frame use for your specific strategy. Now, your row size, we're not going to touch this for now, but you can do auto or manual. If you have manual selected, then you can customize the ticks per row. And then, of course, there's value area percent. Now, for this part of the demonstration, we are going to return to a 1-day based TPO because we want to really show you the trading action based on a daily basis and show you how the value areas can adjust on each day. So let's open the settings menu back up. Let's also take this. Let's go to 15 minutes so we can show you even more blocks of time. Let's zoom in. After all, if you ever cannot see the letters, it just takes a small zoom until you can see the letters. Now let's go ahead and open the settings menu again. And let's explore this value area percent. Well, the value area percent is responsible for showing you, in this case, 70% of the most important value, or where did the most trading action within these blocks occur. In this case, we have 70%. And you can see that at the VAH, value area high, and the VAL, value area low, and these dotted lines mark the cutoff. So everything within these two dotted lines corresponds to this 70%. 70% of the action is here. If you were to change this to 90%, watch how this quickly adjusts after it processes really a very large amount of data. You can see that it's now expanded because now we're looking at 90% of the action here. So the choice is really yours, and this is something you can utilize to focus in on what you believe is a important zone of trading, whether it's a time zone or you think it represents fair value. You're going to want to determine that number yourself. For this matter, let's go back to 70% and now go to style, because we have shown you split by blocks. Remember, depending on your choice, you might prefer this or not. But now the key is to explain that you have the ability to even customize this chart further, such as its gradient colors. That's going to describe the color blocks you see and letters. You also have the choice to look at just letters or just blocks. Choice, once again, is yours. Oftentimes, traders will use just the letters because now you can see the candle. So we see a full day of trading as a candle. And if we read the letters correctly, we can see how price was moving as the day went on and which price levels attracted the widest ranges or maybe the tightest ranges. It gives you a view of both options. As we move down here, we've already done split by block, so let us now show you opacity outside VA. Remember, VAH, VAL, these are your value areas that correspond to the value area percent. So why don't we go ahead now and adjust the opacity. So let's make sure we have our blocks on and adjust the opacity of this. So if we turn it all the way up, now there's no shading that tells us whether we're outside of the value area or inside of the value area. Only these dotted lines detail that. So this, once again, will come down to you and the information you want to see. Do you care about the value area or not? Or would you just prefer to see it as dotted lines as a slight reminder? The choice is yours. Or maybe you really don't even want to use anything outside of the value area that you decide to pick. And so you can turn the opacity way down so that they're barely visible. And now you're just focusing on this 70% value area where most of the action was occurring. Okay, why don't we go ahead and turn this up a bit. And now we can kind of get a feel for outside the value area by the lighter shade, inside the value area by the darker shade. As we move down the list, we have lines and labels options. You can see by default, value area high is checked, but we can turn it on or off as needed. And once again, if you are just looking to use a strictly TPO chart, you could follow our steps here. You add the indicator to your chart, turn off the volume profile, turn off all the other aspects, and now you just have a straightforward TPO that shows you blocks of time throughout the session that you are looking to analyze. But for this video, let's keep these all on. You'll also see that there's a TPO midpoint as well. You can also see the open price and the close price. Now, the open price and close price are particularly important in using a TPO. And there is a reason for that. And it's something that you're surely going to want to pay close attention to. Now, let's exit the settings menu so we can dive into why this feature might be important to you and how you could use it. Well, as we were mentioning about the open, because remember, A is the first 30 minutes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 blocks. Not many other 30-minute blocks have 4 letters spanning this wide of a price, because we can see on our price scale just how wide it is. And then, of course, there also is, in this session as well, there's another 4 A's. So back-to-back days, the open has been pretty volatile. 4 blocks within 30 minutes spanning $20 per share. But how do we know where it started or opened or closed within that time period? Well, now we have the open showing right here, and we can see it's outside of the value area, which gives us insight into NVIDIA opened here and then rather quickly went right back into this zone. This eventually became the point of control. And now you have some insight into this price level got bought up quick, or else it just didn't last long and it went right back into the value area. So by showing these data points, you can get additional insight into what's moving, what's happening, what might matter, what potentially doesn't matter. Now go into the volume profile aspect, because this is a key point, and we mentioned this early on. The TPO comes with a volume profile, and this is where the advanced traders can really present a ton of information. And if they have multiple monitors, a very large screen, or maybe you're just using a laptop, heck, even your phone, you can see tons of detailed data now in this chart. And we are going to attempt to show you everything that you're looking at in one walkthrough. And why don't we go ahead and use this session here? Now remember, it's a daily chart. You can see the candle here. This is a 1-day candle. We are very zoomed in, so the candle is massive. But not only can we see the candle on the chart, we can also see the TPO. So now we know what the trading range. So actually, let us hide the TPO to show you this. This candle shows us the trading range for the day. It also shows us whether it closed higher than the open or not. That's why it's green. So the wick shows us the range. It's green. We know it closed higher than it opened. Okay, that's very interesting information. Now let's add the TPO with the volume profile attached, and what else can we gather? Well, what we can gather is that in terms of trading volume, because remember, this is a volume profile. If you don't know what that is, head to our help center, watch all the videos on our YouTube channel. Well, now we can see that at about $850 per share during this session, the most trading volume occurred. So now not only do we know the range and that it closed green, we also now know that on that day, $850 a share was the most important level in terms of trading action. It gets even better, because now we can also use these letters to understand how price moved throughout time and where the most price action was occurring as the day went onward. So now you have this whole body of information to work with in terms of making future decisions, because you are detailed in terms of how you're analyzing all of the buyers and sellers all across the planet in terms of the trading volume profile, the times they're trading, the TPO, and let's just hide this again, the candlestick itself, which we all know shows us the range, open, and close. So all of this combined together can provide a ton of information, all now available to you on TradingView using the Indicators, Metrics, and Strategies menu, Time, Price, Opportunities. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any additional questions or comments, please write them below. Go give this tool a try. I am your host, Steph. You have probably been watching my videos for a number of months and possibly even years. So please, in the comments below, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you think we should improve, or perhaps just say that was a fantastic demonstration. Please keep it going.